Hello? It's the return of the glasses tonight. How are you guys doing? I had to take my contacts out because one is like really bothering me, and I didn't want to put all new contacts in. I want to put them in the morning that I leave for my trip. So that I have a brand new pair of contacts in when I leave. It has been a long day today. I am exhausted, but like relaxed right now. I was kind of like, I was sitting at home and I was getting stuff done, and I was like, I finally get to relax and just go vlog. Like, I know that sounds kind of weird, but it was like, oh my God, I just gotta kind of sit and just talk for an hour and just vent and tell stories and whatnot. I feel like I look like absolute shit. So this is how my day began. I went and got my hair cut very early. Well, not very early, but I had to get up at like 10 to take the dogs out and give PP his medicine and all that kind of stuff. And then I had to be at the hair salon, got my hair cut, went and got a coffee, had to go to my office to meet up for this project that I'm like finalizing the thing for tomorrow. That's gonna happen while I'm gone. That's the only thing I have to do tomorrow in my office. And then I came home. I went and ran, no. Then I ran a bunch of errands. I had to go get the dog food for while we're gone because we're completely out. And then Liliana and Carlos were going to come over tonight, but Alex ended up going to his mom's house, so he kind of just explained, they've stayed at her house before, so he kind of just explained everything to them. And then I made this huge long list of like all of the food stuff and all that kind of stuff. And then I had to make a list for PP's medicine for Tanya, because I'm taking him there. And so anyway, I went and got food. $75 I spent on dog food because they can't eat dry food, so all of them eating wet food. And but I had to like have separate food for PP because I'm taking him to Tanya's, and then the rest of the food is staying back at the house, so I had to make sure I had enough to take. And then I had to go get PP's meds, so I went and did that. Well, I had to pick up my meds too. And then what else did I do? Oh yeah, so then I did that, and then I ran to the post office, and somebody sent me a book, this author that had like written me and wanted me to read his book, and I actually read the synopsis for it, and I was like, this actually sounds really interesting. It's like a thriller about a guy that's like in this box, and he can't get out of this box, and all he has is a cell phone, and these people are going to kill his wife if he doesn't like do exactly what they say. So anyway, I got that, and then I went home. Is that what I did next? I went home and I filmed, are you ready for this? 9 videos today. Oh my God. Well, I mean, that includes like doing everything to put up for my vlog that I put up today. I can't see what I have the heat on over here. It's cold outside. It's supposed to start snowing and sleeting, so I'm trying to get this done so I can get home. It's like before 2, and I'd like to not go to bed too late tonight. I always like push myself and push myself and push myself. People are like, how do you get so much stuff done? And I'm like, I'm just like driven. Like, I don't know what like other, YouTubers are like, but like I'm just like driven like 24 hours a day. I feel like I'm constantly like thinking about what video I want to make, or like, making notes about it, or especially for like my Peterisms channel and like my booktube channel. Cause like the booktube channel, I can't just like go in there and be like, hey, so this book is good. And I mean, I can. I did like today I did a review of Artemis because I finished that last night. But so then I came home and I filmed 9 videos. I filmed the 4 videos for today that I had. So I did my vlog, my main channel video, my Peterisms video, and my booktube video. And then I filmed 3 Peterisms videos. I now have a Peterisms video for every day that I am gone, and I have some really good ones, you guys. I have stuff in there about my addiction. I have like getting over a relationship breaking up. I have stories about my mom, a really funny one about my mom. I have a really fun one in there about my dad and my stepmom and I taking a trip when I was in high school. I've got all kinds of Peterisms that are, I try to make them really all over the place and different. And then if Alex and I are down there and like we're wanting to do one together, or I feel like really moved to do one, I may post 2 Peterisms on a day. So, and then I filmed a booktube video. I still, to like have one for every day that I'm gone, I have to make 3 more tomorrow. And it just kind of depends on how much stuff I get done tomorrow. I mean, if I am like running behind on stuff, then I'll just film them while I'm down there, because I'm probably going to finish a couple books. I'll do book reviews. And so yeah, and I already have my videos for tomorrow written down, like how I want to do them. So I'm real excited, because I feel like really like planned ahead. And I uploaded the rest of my merch on my merch store. There's 2 shirts I still, two shirts I still want to have up there that people have asked for. So, I mean, it's like there's 1,000 things on there now, and I'm just going to end up putting up on there, and what people want to get, they can get, and if they don't, they don't, you know? I'm kind of surprised, like the good Judy t-shirts are the ones that are selling the most. That kind of cracks me up, but I love that too, because I love that saying. And then Alex came home in between work and going to his mom's and changed real quick. And then he was over there. He has cousins that are visiting from Venezuela that he hasn't seen in like 20 years. So they were like over there, and then Carlos and Liliana, and I was going to go up there, but my allergies are so bad right now. Alex and I both have horrible allergies in the springtime and in the fall. But I just was like, I have so much stuff I have to get done. Like, I want to get this stuff done. So tonight, if I didn't see Tanya tonight, I wasn't going to see her again until I got back. She is going to see her mom tomorrow, so she will not be at the kennel when I take Pee-Pee there. She's going to come back later and pick him up. So, yeah. And then I went and I saw Tanya. So I went and got Tanya, and we went and got a Fountain Coke and drove around and talked for a little bit. And then I took her home. And then I forgot that I had gotten like these boxes of dog food that have like, you know, those like wet meals inside of them, like containers. But I didn't buy them dinner for tonight, and they hadn't eaten yet. And so I had to go and get them food. So I did that. And while I was there, I got like that grocery store sushi. It was actually really good. I got like this vegetarian rolls that was like brown rice and celery. It was really good. And then I got these pot stickers that were vegetarian pot stickers. I know it sounds bad, and it was like at Kroger, but it was really good. I'm not like a snot when it comes to that stuff. Like, I don't mind like eating the grocery store sushi. I think it's pretty good sometimes. So I got that, and I came home, I fed the dogs, and then I sat down and I watched RuPaul's Drag Race, the finale, because Alex had watched it and I hadn't. Oh yeah, you guys know that, because he like texted me while I was doing my vlog the other night. So I got that done, watched that. It was really good. I don't know, I guess. It was kind of anticlimactic, I guess. I mean, they don't have like the big, you know, finale show or anything like they do with like the main RuPaul's Drag Race. So I don't know, it was okay. I like all of them. I don't know that I feel like Trixie Mattel deserved to win. I thought Shangela deserved to win based on like what she had done that season. I don't know how I feel about the eliminated queens coming back and being able to vote for it. I mean, I like the idea of it. I thought it made it new and kind of different and all that kind of stuff. But I wish it would have shown them talking about why they decided to keep Kennedy and Trixie. And I know a lot of it had to do with, like, who had already built a platform. But honestly, out of all of them, like, Trixie probably has, like, the most prominent platform, like, pop culture-wise. So it's like, she didn't really need the title. But her lip sync was, I thought, the best out of the two, so. But anyway, I was happy with it. I mean, it is what it is, you know. Back in the day, like, with shows like that, like, I used to get so like upset if the person that, I mean, not like throwing a remote through the TV, but I would be so invested in who I thought should win. I mean, I would be really upset sometimes afterwards, like, I can't believe so-and-so didn't win, and, you know, I'm not like that as much anymore. Alex asked me the other night, he's like, he's real sensitive to me about like American Idol, because he knows it's like a show that like the first season that it was on, my mom and I like watched it like together, like sometimes together, but mostly like at our separate houses, and we would call each other while we were watching it. And I remember that the finale came on right after my first boyfriend and I broke up, like a month after that, or like a couple weeks after that. And I remember I called her, and I was like just bawling my eyes out, and she was crying too. And I'm like, she won, Mom, she won. We were so happy that Kelly Clarkson won. I still do love Kelly Clarkson to this day. A couple years ago, we went to the state fair to see her, and I swear to God, there was only probably about 200 people in the audience. It was like dead, and I was so impressed. She like did such a good job. I mean, she played with a band, and she was just like, it was incredible. It was very like grassroots. She put on a great concert for just being with this like country band, you know? So anyway, but yeah, I used to get like, with Survivor and all those shows, I used to get like that. I'm not like that anymore. I don't even watch that stuff. Sometimes Tanya gets real sad. She's like, you used to watch all of it. Like, I didn't watch Celebrity Big Brother. I just can't keep up with it. Big Brother, I always watch. I love Big Brother. And Survivor and Amazing Race and all that kind of stuff, I used to always watch. America's Next Top Model, I used to always watch. I don't anymore. I don't know what it is. Like, it kind of lost it for me at some point, you know? I think one of the things that's weird is it's like, do you think like TV shows sometimes like represent certain parts of your life? And it's like Survivor like represented like a certain point in my life when I was like working in a treatment facility, and like we would all talk about Survivor, and you know, my ex and I, we would watch America's Next Top Model together, and it's just like, that's not my life anymore, you know? And Alex and I have our shows now that we watch. I mean, I never watched Project Runway before, but like now I've seen every season now, but you know, we watch it. Has it been on that long? I don't even know. We've always watched it. And I even watched that Thread show with Tim Gunn. And Project Runway Jr., I watched that one too. Those kids were really good. But I think that like certain shows like represent a period of your life, and you know, maybe sometimes you just don't want to go back to that. I don't know, you know? I just like have no desire to watch the Survivors anymore. It's weird. I remember watching Lost, and that was kind of my ex and I show together. Like, we got the first like 2 seasons or 3 seasons, and we like binge watched it like over a period of like 2 weeks. I mean, we would come home from work and like watch like 4 episodes back to back. And this was like back in the day when there was no Netflix or anything. So we would have to like buy the DVDs, and we'd be like, just one more before we get out. We would stay up so late watching them. We loved that show. And then when we broke up, like I didn't talk to him for the longest time. And it was like on the last season. And it ended like, I think in the spring. Maybe, I don't know when it ended, but anyway, I remember like, but I was dating Alex, I do know that, because I was like in the living room, and I was like watching it, and I like texted my ex, and I was like, are you watching this? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, good times, and he was like, good times, and that was like it. And I remember just watching the end of Lost and being like so emotional about it. It was like, those people were such a like part of my life. You know, it's weird. Like, so many people are like asking me about Roseanne. Like, Roseanne. Like, Roseanne was my mom and I's show. I don't think sometimes people really get the investment that I have, like, in TV shows and movies and books. Like, I have like a huge like investment in them, you know? And I think a lot of people do, you know? But I think the one thing is like that's different today. Well, maybe not, because like Alex with Grey's Anatomy or those shows. But I think like when you binge watch shows on like Netflix, it doesn't have the same feeling as it did when like, you know, you would watch a season and then you would have to wait in the summer for it to come back on, and then you couldn't wait, and then it would come back on, and all your favorite people who felt like family would be back. Do you know what I mean? Like that still happens, but not as much. I mean, we're just like, I think, a society of binge watchers now. And I don't know, it's just weird. And like Roseanne was my mom and I's show, and so it's kind of weird to me that it's coming back on. Like, I don't really, to be honest with you, this is gonna sound so crazy, but I don't really know how I'm gonna react watching it. Like, I'm either gonna be like, just like, oh my god, this is so funny, hilarious, haha, laughing my ass off, or I think there's a part of me that could get very melancholy about it too, and just be like, you know, I don't know, it's weird. I was thinking about like my uncle the other day, because, you know, my uncle's been a heart patient for 23 years, and he's in okay health, but he's not in great health, and his health has kind of declined since my aunt passed away in January, and a year ago January, and I worry about him, you know. And when we were with him for Thanksgiving, I said something to him about Uncle Dave, because he used to go see every movie that was out, and now, like, he takes Caroline's son, and they go to all these movies, but I guess lately they haven't been going to as many movies. And I said, Uncle Dave, we were talking about some movie, I can't remember what it was, and I said, have you seen it? And he goes, no, I don't really have any interest. And God, what movie was it? I don't remember, but it was like something where there was going to be a sequel. And he said, I know there's going to be a sequel, and who just texted me so late? Oh, it's the weather. He said, let's see what the weather says, because they're predicting that we're supposed to have snow and sleet tonight, and I kind of would really like to be off the roads before that happens. Let's see what it says. A brief snow shower will begin around 2:20 a.m. It's 2:10 right now. But, I said, oh, Uncle Dave, aren't you so excited about this coming out? God, what movie was it? I can't remember what it was. And he said, no, not really. And I said, why not? And he goes, because I probably won't be here when they make the sequel. And I was like, I didn't even really respond, but I just thought to myself, you know, when you get to a certain age where, you know, can you imagine like watching a TV show and being like, I may not even know how this ends because I won't be alive for it. But the reality is, like, none of us know how much time we're going to have. Like, you know, any of us could be gone tomorrow. We don't know if we're going to live to be 80 or, you know, live to next week. We don't, any of us know that, you know? And I think that's where the real gratitude comes in, the real gratitude comes in and like just taking every day and enjoying the most out of it. How can I be talking about TV shows and turn it into just this sad, melancholy gratitude kind of BS? Only me, right? Only Peter. Oh well. It's how I think. It's how my mind thinks. For so long, like, people would always say to me, like, I just don't get how you think, or I don't understand how you think, or, you know, your thoughts go from one thing to the next and you don't make any sense. And then all of a sudden I started vlogging, and you guys were like, oh, I love your vlogs and I love just listening to you. And I'm like, somebody likes to listen to what I have to say and they don't think that I'm crazy. Or maybe you guys do think I'm crazy and that's why you like listening to me. I don't know. Who knows, right? I don't feel crazy. Do you think you'd know if you were crazy, like truly crazy? I remember back in the day, I worked with this fantastic psychiatrist when I worked in treatment, and he told me this story about this woman, and she was like in her 40s, and she had like little kids and stuff, and she was starting to hear voices in her head. Like, she was starting to hear people like talk to her. And it wasn't happening all the time, but she knew enough about mental health and about, I think she was like a psych nurse actually, and she knew a lot about like psychiatric, or like about schizophrenia, that she knew that she was like having the signs of like early stage schizophrenia, which is weird because I think the onset for schizophrenia is usually about 18 or 19. But anyway, maybe you can have it later, I don't know. But so anyway, but she came to him and she said, I need help because I know it's just a matter of time before I'm gone, and like, I've got to get my shit together because I've got kids and I've got a husband and I need to make sure that everything's in order, before there's like no thoughts there anymore and I don't know what's going on, And that would be so scary. Can you imagine? Like, I'm sure it's the same thing with Alzheimer's, I worry about that with my dad so much because my dad is so sharp, like so sharp, that I think like if that started happening to him, or dementia, I think like it would just kill him. Like, I think if he had any realization that it was going on, I think it's so sad, the people that suffer from Alzheimer's and dementia. I've known so many people that have parents that are going through it, and it's just like, the whole like story of like my dad didn't know who I was when I went to the hospital today, and he thought he thought I was his sister. Like, that's not bullshit. Like, that's common to people that have Alzheimer's and dementia, and it just breaks my heart. Like, it makes me so sad, and like, that's one of my biggest fear is not like my dad like dying. My biggest fear is my dad living with something like that, because I really like, my dad's a man that has a lot of pride, a lot of ego, and I just don't know that he would, if my dad was ever the guy that had to be like in a hospital, retirement home, diapered and changed, he just would not be able to handle it. He just wouldn't. And I don't think we talk enough about that, like, in our society, that, along with aging and getting older and these things that happen possibly to a lot of people, and younger people as well, but like, that feeling of powerlessness that they must feel. I mean, there's so much powerlessness too, and Alzheimer's is a disease, so it's not a mental health issue, but like, let's talk about just mental health issues for a second. There's so much powerlessness that goes along with mental health, and we don't ever address that. We talk about, like, with teenagers, we talk about like antisocial behavior, and we talk about anger and fugue depression and bipolar disorder and ADHD and ADD and Asperger's syndrome, and we talk about all these things, right? But we don't talk about the powerlessness that goes along with that. I feel like my camera is like turned so strange tonight. We don't talk about the powerlessness that goes along with that, right? That, like with addiction, we talk a lot about powerlessness because you just are powerless over your addiction and you have no choice. But with mental health, there's a powerlessness over it too. It's not like you ask for those things, and yet you're forced to deal with them, and you're forced to respond to them in a world where people don't understand that. And mental health is really, really misunderstood in our society. Like when I was watching that girl's incarcerated, it's like the anger that those girls have. I mean, some of those issues aren't just they're angry little girls because they've had bad lives. I mean, that's such a 50s mentality that we like to try to make that out to be what the case is, when the real case is some of those girls are girls that have true diagnoses of mental health, where anger and all of that stuff is very, very real, and you can't just go and put a rubber band on their wrist and give them an anger management class and they know how to deal with it. That's just, you can't, it's not reality. Reality is addressing those issues and saying, okay, we have a girl, or a boy that has some very, very true mental health issues like depression. One of my biggest pet peeves in the entire world is when people say, I'm depressed, and what they mean is, I'm sad. And, I've pissed off so many people before because I'll say to them, you're sad or you're depressed? Well, I'm depressed. I'm going through a breakup. I'm depressed. And I say, no. Depression is a mental health diagnosis, okay? You're taking away from the stories of people that have true depression. You're taking away their story. There is a black cat right there, and I am not having that. Don't you dare cross in front of me. No, ma'am. black cat walking down the street in the middle of Zionsville, Indiana, in this like old neighborhood with cobblestone streets and stuff. That kind of cracks me up. But somebody told me that a black cat can mean good luck. Is that true? Can a black cat? I think I'm gonna go with that. I don't know. It's just frustrating to me sometimes. Like, and I know that. What is this? That is so weird. I was just talking about that girl's incarcerated because I sent a message to that Brianna girl. She just sent me a message back. Oh my God. I sent her a message and I asked her if she wanted to do a collab with me. And she just sent me a message back and she said, yes, we have to make one. It's crazy. I was just talking about that. You guys, I truly am starting to really believe that I'm like a psychic, or like that I put things out there in the universe and they like come to me, because like I so much recently, like I'll be like thinking about something or talking about something and then next thing you know, it's like it's happening. It's like really weird to me. But really it's only positive things, which is good. Do you guys believe in that? Do you believe in the power of attraction and The Secret and all that kind of stuff? I do, but I believe that you have to like work for it, you know? That's so crazy to watch her on like a Netflix show and never like message me back. That's kind of surreal. So pretty out here. I drove a different way tonight because I was like, I'm so tired of seeing the same shit that I see on a daily basis when I drive around in a circle. So I was like, I'm gonna go a different way tonight. And so I drove a different way and it's like really pretty out this way. Of course that yellow battery light's on, so it's gonna stop one of these minutes. I'm almost at 30 minutes anyway. I'm almost at like 27 minutes. I would love if it would just go right to 30 minutes because it stops at 30 minutes anyway, but it probably won't. It'll probably just stop all of a sudden. Do you ever wonder why these like show homes that they show, that they have every light in every room on in those show homes? Like that makes no sense to me whatsoever. And we talk about saving electricity and then like all of these like neighborhoods that have those like show homes in them. Do you know what I'm talking about? That they have to have every light on in every room when they're like the display home. I'm like, that is so stupid. Why do you do that? But I kind of like seeing them. I don't know why. I don't know why they make me happy. They do. They just look real homey, don't they? I haven't done my dog's voices in a while. I was talking to Boo Radley tonight. I said, now Boo Radley, I said, your Uncle Carlos and Aunt Liliana are coming to stay here with you. And he goes, oh no, we'll be just fine all by ourselves. I said, oh, Boo Radley, but who would feed you? He said, oh, I'm a really good cook. I said, Boo Radley, you've never cooked anything before. He says, oh, I cook for my friends all the time. Don't even worry about it. I'm an independent person. Alex was looking at me like I was crazy. It only works with Boo Radley because he has the face to match it. You know what I mean? He just looks like he would say something like that. Don't even worry about it. I'm an independent person. I said, but Boo Radley, they're bringing your cousins, Carlitos and Sebastian, aren't you? Oh no, they better not. They better just leave them at home. They can just take care of themselves at home. They don't need to come. Boo Radley does not like Sebastian and Carlitos. I mean, he doesn't dislike him, but he's like real scared of him. And he comes like running over at us. And then Carlitos like pets him. The kids are really great with the dogs. And like Carlitos will pet him like this. And Boo Radley like gets real low to the ground. Like he's real nervous. And then he warms up to Carlitos. And then he doesn't want Carlitos to leave. And then he's like snuggling next to Carlitos and stuff. It's so cute. It is cold outside. Well, they said 220, it's 221, and it still isn't snowing yet, so. I can't believe my battery made it all the way. Listen, we've talked about mental health, we've talked about movies, we've talked about TV shows, we've talked about Netflix, we've talked about, what else have we talked about? Addiction, we've talked about relationships, we've talked about my schedule for the day. We have had a vlog tonight, my lord. Are y'all putting on your makeup? I should tell a real sad story so y'all cry. That's my favorite. Okay, I let my camera cool down and now I don't even know what I was talking about, which is always what happens to me. And it cut off right in the middle of me talking about something too. Oh well. It doesn't matter. I started listening to this new book that I wanted to listen to on my trip, but like, since I listen to books at 2 times, I'm already like an hour and a half, 2 hours into the book. It's The Flight Attendant by Chris I mispronounced it because I heard at the beginning how they pronounce it. It's like Chris Bohemian or something. But anyway, it's about this chick, and she is a flight attendant, and she's like a severe alcoholic. That's like the new trend these days, is in all these mysteries, they make like the main character like a severe alcoholic, which is interesting because when you like talk about books and you like critique it from like a literary point of view, that's called an unreliable narrator. And like, it's interesting that they always have these like narrators that are like such alcoholics. So anyway, but she is a flight attendant and she flies like international first class. And so her flight that she's on when it starts is like Dubai to Paris. And it opens. Did you ever see the movie with Jane Fonda called The Morning After? I loved that movie so much. I was obsessed with that movie when I was a kid. I loved it. And it's very similar to that. She wakes up and there's a dead guy in the bed with her and she doesn't know what happened and she doesn't remember because she's drunk. It's almost identical. And it's almost kind of like he stole the idea a little bit. But then she doesn't know what to do, and so it kind of just goes forward, and she can't remember what happened that night and all this kind of stuff. But it's good. It's just very, like, the telling of it is very dry. It's like told in first person. Well, it's told from like a couple different points of view. It's told from her point of view, and then another person's point of view, and I think there's a third point of view, but we're not there yet. But it's just dry. It's like you don't really get a feeling for the character whatsoever. So I like wanted to like download some other books that were really, really good. And I was gonna get The Other Woman because everybody was telling me that that was really good. I don't know, I'm gonna have to go through Audible tomorrow and see before I leave what books I want to get. I just remembered that I have to go to Meijer because we are completely out of toilet paper. And I went to Costco today, didn't get toilet paper. Went to Kroger today, didn't get toilet paper when I meant to. So now I have to go to Meijer because we are like literally out of toilet paper. It's those little burdens in life that drive me crazy. It's that stupid shit, you know, not having toilet paper. Everywhere I've gone recently, there's been like boxes and bags just all over the road. Like somebody just threw a bunch of shit out of their car. It's funny when you drive around at night like I do, and like there's not really anybody on the road. And so like, you know, like when you drive during the day and it's like very trafficy, you don't really like notice the stuff around. But like at night, there's nobody on the road. I mean, seriously, like look, there's literally nobody on the road. There's like one person way up there. There's nobody on the road. Nobody in the rearview mirror. And one of the things that's interesting is that you like notice like every little shop that then half of them you're like, oh, I never noticed that before. Or like you'll see like a restaurant, you'll be like, oh, I didn't know that restaurant was there. And oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. It's kind of funny, isn't it? excited for Miami. We get in at like 1 in the afternoon, and we're gonna go and eat right as soon as we get there, and then go check into the hotel. And then Alex has this party. We have a friend of ours that's a DJ, and he's like throwing like a yacht party down there. And I just have a feeling that it's going to be party central, and I'm just going to want to like relax when I get there. So I'm thinking after we check in, I'm going to go and sit by the pool or go to the beach. Probably the pool though that first day because we get there late. And then I'm going to take a nap and let him go to the party. This is what we've done the last couple years because there's always like industry parties the week of Ultra. And so he goes to the industry parties, and then, well, he doesn't, I'll go to him like later, or like the ones that are like at 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever, like a club, I'll go with him. But like the ones that are like at 5 in the evening, like I'm gonna take a nap. I love like going swimming at a hotel, and then like going up to the room and like taking a nap. You know, taking like a hot shower after you get out of the pool, or just like getting right into the sheets, like smelling like chlorine. I love that. And then like just taking a nap for like 2 hours. The other thing is I have to sleep with a fan. And so I will pack a fan like this big. I pack with me and take it down there because I have to have it. It's one of the reasons why I miss like driving the road trip. Although I have to say, I'm not real sad about that because I'm exhausted this week from trying to get everything done between pre-filming videos and the projects that I have with my job and just the dogs and getting the house ready for Carlos and Liliana and everything. I'm so tired that like I don't know that I could get in a car tomorrow night. I mean, I'm sure if I was excited I would be able to do it, but I don't know that I'd be able to get in a car tomorrow night and like drive 19 hours. I just don't think that I could do it. And but back in the day I loved it. I love road trips. It's funny to think though, because like Alex gets off tomorrow, I think like at 6. And so that means that we would have left at like 7 tomorrow night to drive down there, which would put us in Miami at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Because I think it's like an 18 or 19 hour drive for us. Those were some fun times though. I love it. I used to love, he sleeps like, because he would like work the whole day. So like we would leave at like 6 or 7, and then like 7 we would leave, and we would go to the gas station, get full tank of gas, and you know, get a fountain pop or coffee or whatever, and then head out. And then he usually stay up and talk with me for like an hour, you know, like from like 7 to like 8:30 or 9, and then he'd like kind of drift off. And I wouldn't be real sad about it because at first we would just listen to dance music and talk about who we couldn't wait to go to Ultra and all this kind of stuff. And then when he went to sleep, I would start listening to an audiobook. And I would always pick audiobooks, that were like road trip audiobooks or like adventures. Because I loved listening to like, this is so weird. Like the first year that we went down there, like I must not have had Audible, because I can remember bringing like CDs. How long has Audible been around? The first year that we drove to Florida, I remember bringing CDs and listening to them on the way down there. But anyway, and then I would listen to like, I can't even remember what books I listened to, but I listened to some really scary ones, some really good ones. I think I listened to like a Richard Lehman or a Robert Lehman. Is it Robert Lehman or Richard Lehman? It's Richard Lehman. Book one year. He's the one that wrote Endless Night. And then at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, like when we would pull over again, like usually by then, if we left at 7, we would get into like Nashville, Tennessee at like 12. And I would look up like Coast to Coast Radio, because it usually comes on at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like 1 to 5. And then we would get out, and then like we would get something like real quick to eat, like just some snacks and stuff. And Alex would stay up for like another half an hour, and then when we were on the road, and then that's like when you get into like the mountains and stuff of like Tennessee, driving through all that kind of stuff, which I don't love. It's between like Nashville and like Knoxville, Tennessee. It's like an hour, and you're like up and down the mountains. I don't love it. It's very pretty, but I don't love it. And then, but I love driving at night. I don't know what it is. It's just so exciting to me. And, you know, all these movies I watched in the 80s that were like action movies and, you know, where people were always on the run. And I loved adventure stories like that. And so anyway, I would listen to Coast Radio or my audiobook from like 12 to like 4 or 5 in the morning whenever it was on. And then we would stop. And, you know, it doesn't really get sunlight until like 7:38 in the morning. So we still had like 4 more hours. We would stop and I would get something else to drink. Usually Alex, that last like stop again, like he sleeps through it. And then we'd be in Georgia, and Georgia's so long. It's so long. And then, that would put us in we get to Florida at like 8 or 9 in the morning, and that's usually when we switch over and Alex starts driving. And then I was trying to figure out how many hours it is down the coast that you go down like that freeway in the middle. I can't remember. I just remember that I like got this ticket that I have to pay. I totally forgot about it. I think it may be too late. I got this ticket like a couple years ago and like driving down there, and I don't know why I just got the thing now. And Alex is like, I think you should call and make sure that it's not bullshit. So I'll have to call and see what that's about. I have to do that tomorrow. God, I totally forgot about that. How did I forget about that? I had it out there, talk to her, call. I always forget stuff. That's why I have to make lists. If I don't make lists, I forget them. But anyway, that Sun Coast or Sun Highway or whatever it is. I went through a toll. I didn't realize that we didn't have that pass, the Sun Pass. That's what it says. So, yeah, what else? And then he would drive, and then I sleep, and then I usually wake up like at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon when we're like pulling in somewhere, like getting close. We're like an hour away, and we usually get off in like Fort Lauderdale and drive in from there. That's what we would do back in the day, because we like to drive, you know, through like Hollywood and Aventura, because we want to move down there. And so it was kind of fun to like drive through there and see like the houses and all the stuff. And so we would do that and go see all the different things. And yeah, that's what we would do. God, I love the road. It sounds so quick. It sounds like it just goes boom, 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 but it doesn't. You know, it's like a really long trip. The first year that we went, I drove there and back myself. Like, he didn't drive at all. He volunteered to. I was just like, oh no, I'll drive. Because I love driving. Obviously, I get in a car and I vlog every night. But I do. I love it. It's fun. We've had some really good road trips. We've had some really fun times road tripping it. But 2 years ago, when we drove down there, he was like, the reason why we would drive down there was that we could have our car down there while we were in Miami. And I said, like, for 2 years in a row that I wanted to drive down, I like split my skin earlier. I said I wanted to drive to Key West and see that because I had never seen it. But we have to pay, are you ready for this? $42 a day to park our car at the hotel. And then really what we ended up using the car for was Ultra for 3 days. That we would have to pay $20 in parking when we went to Ultra. And Alex is like, this is ridiculous. For what we are paying to park our car, we could fly down here for less. And he's like, I'm not doing it anymore. He was like, we're wasting an entire day driving. And I was like, but I love the road trips. I love the road trips, because I do. I love road trips. And he's like, well, that's fine. He was like, we can take a road trip sometime. He's like, but this is ridiculous. Like, we're wasting our money. I'd rather take like a 4-hour road trip somewhere that we can't fly to and fly to Miami for what we're paying, you know? And I was like, well, that's kind of right. But I was so resistant because I love the road trip so much, you know? But last year we flew, and I mean to tell you, I was so happy. We got off that flight, and I was just like, oh my God, we're here and it's so early already. We got there really early last year because we had like a direct flight. I don't know why we don't have a direct flight this year, but like I booked it too late. And so we leave at like 6:18 in the morning and we get there at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So what is that? 7 hours total flight. We have a layover in New York. I don't even know why we fly there. But whatever. I'm just ready to be there. I think it'll be so much fun. I'm ready to check into the hotel. I mean, that is kind of the nice thing, is that check-in's at 3 o'clock. And so we land at 1. By the time we get out of the airport, it'll be 1:30, you know, 1:45. We'll go eat. That takes a half an hour to get to the restaurant usually. So that'll be 2:15. We'll get to the restaurant, 2:30. And then we eat. And then it's one of our favorite restaurants. And then by the time we get to the hotel, it'll be 3:15, 3 o'clock, and it'll be time to check in. And I am so ready. Do you guys unpack when you go to a hotel? Alex always unpacks all of his stuff. It's so cute. It's so cute. He like puts his suitcase up on the bed, and then he like takes out everything, and he like hangs everything up, and he like lays his shoes out. He takes like 5 pairs of shoes to go on a trip for a week, and he like lays all of his shoes out, and it's so adorable. I love my husband. We have so much fun traveling together. We always kind of argue a little bit. I was talking to Tanya about this tonight. I was like, do you and Eric ever fight like the night before you go on a trip? She's like, always. And I was like, seriously? She's like, yeah, I just think there's a lot of tension, you know, like getting ready. I want to see the deer out here tonight. They're never here anymore. Nope, no deer. I just see them like randomly anymore. It seems like standing by the road, and they're always like staring at me. But anyway, she's like, I just think it's like, you know, there's a lot of tension and a lot of nervousness about leaving for a trip. Like, I'm always worried, like, okay, I'm going to forget my medicine, or I'm going to forget this, or I'm going to forget money, or I'm going to forget something, you know? And I think it just comes out naturally, you know? And then, like, it's like one thing, and then all of a sudden you're like arguing in the bedroom while you're packing, you know? So I told Alex, I said, this time, no arguing. He was like, no arguing. We agreed on it. And then he always is so good about going to bed. Like, he'll go to bed tomorrow at like 10 because he knows that we have to get up, and I will push it, and it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like a kid before we go to, like, before Christmas. Like, I can't sleep, and I'm like a nervous wreck, and I'm laying there in bed, and I'm tossing and turning, and I miss my dogs, and I know, you know, that, PB's with Tanya, and, you know, Boo and Tucker will still be there, but I'm like, I don't know, it just... It'll be weird. I don't know why I just said that. I don't know what will be weird. Do you ever just say stuff? We'll be fine. This will be the best trip. I'm so excited to go. I'm really excited about spending, honest to God, like 10 plus 2 days when we get back, uninterrupted days with my husband. Like, we haven't spent that much time together since, not even when we went to Mexico, since a year ago. We haven't spent that much time just uninterrupted together. And we have such a blast together, just like shopping and going out to eat and just walking around the city and learning it. We have so much fun just like laying in the hotel room and watching bullshit television. Like, we love that. And the hotel that we stay at does not have great cable, so it has like Bravo, and it has like AMC, and it has like one HBO, and then it has like 3 Spanish channels. And so we end up just like, well, that's how I got hooked on that show 60 Days In, because last year when we went for our anniversary in August, it like rained because of the hurricanes in Texas. It like rained like nonstop. And so we couldn't leave the hotel room. I mean, it was ridiculous. I'll never forget this. The night of our anniversary, we like went out to dinner, and Alex is like, do you want to just eat here at the sugar factory? Because there's a sugar factory underneath our hotel. And I was like, no, we've already eaten here like twice, because it was like so, like the rain was so treacherous. You guys, do you remember those vlogs? The rain was so treacherous. You like literally could not walk outside the hotel. And so it let up a little bit. And we waited and finally let up, and we went down and we walked like 3 blocks down. Yeah, like 3 blocks down at this restaurant that we like, and we ate. But like, you usually, like, if you've ever been on Ocean Drive, you like walk through the restaurants. Well, now they changed it, so you walk to the side of the restaurants, but where people are sitting like on the sidewalk. But we sat like up by like where the restaurant door was, and like when we were done, we just like sat there forever, because it was like, just, I mean, to tell you, downpour, like unbelievable downpour. And we got laughing so hard. We were like, oh my God, we're gonna be soaked when we get back. But I don't think we really believed it. Well, Alex was like, let's go. And I'm in these ridiculous Birkenstock sandals that I couldn't run in. And so I said, okay. And he goes, do you want to walk or run? And I said, I cannot run in these sandals. So he goes, okay. And we're like trying to go underneath all these awnings and make it there. And all of a sudden, like, we just got soaked, and Alex just goes, run. And I just ran, and he ran, and we were laughing so hard. And I had like this button down collared blue shirt on, and it was completely soaking wet, see-through by the time that we got there. It was so funny. We like stripped down out of all of our clothes when we got to the hotel room. It was so fun. We had just silly stuff like that. I loved like discovering new things in cities, like with my husband, that we've never been to before. And that's like one thing that we always try to do, is like go places that we've never been before, you know? Dream. Plus, I love staying in a hotel. It's like one of my favorite things in the entire world. And coming back every day and having the bed like perfectly made and getting into it and everything straightened up. Oh my God, I love that. So ready. Are you guys ready for the Miami vlogs? The Miami vlogs. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. Kind of like, would it be easier for me just to go into a CVS and get toilet paper? But then like everything at CVS is so expensive that I'm like, there's a Kroger right over here, but I'm like, if I'm gonna go into Kroger, why don't I just go into Meijer, where it's really cheap? But then you have to walk around the whole damn store. And then I'll want to go to the books, and then I'll start looking at all the books, and I'll be like, oh, I want this book. I'm doing a video tomorrow on my BookTube channel about like how to pick the perfect book for your vacation. Because I always lay out like 10 books, and I decide like which ones I'm gonna take. For my last trip, I took one book and I like finished it right away. So this trip I'm taking 2, and you know what? I won't finish either one of them. Is probably what will happen. I'm excited. I can't wait. Well, listen, I'm gonna get off here, and then I'm gonna go to Meijer and get the stuff I have to get, and then I'm gonna go home so I can get a good night's sleep tonight. So I get to sleep in a little bit tomorrow, which I'm excited about. So, yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, I love you guys, and I hope you are having a wonderful Tuesday. And have a great day unless you have other plans. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.